Hey guys, how's it going? Michael Troy here. Today we are looking at Outsiders number 19 by Mike W. Barr and Jim Aparo. I love The Outsiders so much. I cannot wait to share this with you guys. So subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit that like button and let's get right into it. I'm a huge fan of Batman and The Outsiders and The Outsiders. I loved when the Batman left the team and The Outsiders went on their own and to the deluxe format, direct sales only book. I mean, did it jump the shark after Batman left? Arguably, maybe. I don't know. I still love them, but I feel like perhaps the jumping of the shark was when the Teen Titans and The Outsiders sort of did this weird, like, double publishing venture. When the new series started, Batman and the Outsiders was still coming out, so it was sort of leading up to the departure of Batman. But that was when Alan Davis took over, and it was so good. So, of course, I loved it. And I still love it. In Windfall, look at this beautiful cover. Welcome to Windfall. I'm trying to think, and I believe that she's only the second character to ever join the team outside of the original roster after Hooker. Hooker. Oh my gosh, that was such a Freudian slip. I swear to God, you guys, I did not do that on purpose. It totally just slipped out. What I meant to say, of course, was Looker. And I love Looker. I don't think she's a hooker. The Outsiders by Mike W. Barr and Jim Aparo, writer, editor, co-creators, artist. Jim Aparo is amazing. His style wasn't super appealing to me when I was young compared to artists like Alan Davis and Art Adams. I hate the weird thing of picking up Batman and the Outsiders, the first Alan Davis issue. I was blown away by the art, and that's what made me start picking up the series. So getting the Jim Aparo stuff, at first I was like, oh, this is kind of boring because it's, definitely more a traditional house style kind of look, I guess. But now, of course, I absolutely love it. And I grew to love it back then, of course, too. He's pretty amazing. I feel like he's one of those artists, like I just did one recently about Sal Buscema, who I sort of took for granted. Like, there's a lot of real artistry in his work, and he pencils, inks, and letters. And, his discipline was to do one page a day, and which he could do. And I think that is so cool. I love his lettering. I think it's very distinct. It's very very recognizable as Jim Aparo. I love the Outsiders. I love Rex Mason and Metamorpho. I love his relationship with Sapphire Stagg, and just Mike W. Barr is like such an underrated writer. I really love his stuff. Of course, Batman and the Outsiders being the pinnacle. I love the characters that they fought. He always thought of the most inventive, the Fearsome Five, Cold Snap and Heat Wave, like her new wave hairdo. And of course, Mohawk Storm was all the rage. So this was a very exciting character for me. I love the design of that character. Shakedown. Here's Emily Briggs and her new... Looker is such a funny character and story, and she's supposed to be so gorgeous, and honestly, she kind of just looks like a drag queen to me, but I feel like my mom said that when I showed her Looker's picture, because I was like, Mom, isn't she beautiful? And she was like, yeah, no. That is hysterical. I love that. Please, Jim Aparo, give me a Tex Avery moment. That is the beauty of having a character like Metamorpho on the team. You got to throw in those... little comedic elements and show off their powers. That's what I always loved about superhero teams is like, especially, I say this often when reviewing like an X-Men comic book written by Chris Claremont. I always felt he was so deft at like showing them using their powers in normal circumstances. And I always think that's fun because who wouldn't, you know what I mean? Like the perfect example, as silly as it is like Iceman in X-Men #1 making ice cream, which, it's impossible with his powers. But, of course, if you could, you would, wouldn't you? So the Outsiders are in LA now, which is so funny. They went from, were they in Gotham with Batman? I guess they must have been, right? It's so funny because I do like this costume for Halo. It was an important story element why she changed her costume. The only problem with it is that her original costume is one of the most creative, unique, inventive, cool-looking costumes in comic book dumb. So I kind of was disappointed by this. Like, I mean, come on, it's so basic, and a halo on your boob. It's like, wow, okay. Step backwards, people. Step backwards. That happened. That'll be fun for the comments section. Can you think of a character that changed their costumes for the worse? I'm sure there are plenty of examples. Like, the original costume was just so much better. I can't think of any examples off the top of my head. I know there are tons, but I'm going to leave that to you folks in the comments. Isn't Jim Aparo just like so much fun? He is such a great Batman artist. And such a great storyteller. Such a great storyteller, in fact, that when John Byrne wrote a Batman miniseries that Jim Aparo drew, he left the first issue wordless because the storytelling was so tight, he felt like words would just ruin it. And that, number one, is a testament to the amazing storytelling of Jim Aparo. You know, that is one of the tricks of being a good classic comic book storyteller, or just a comic book artist in general, is that you have to tell a story. You have to be able to you have to make the writer and the words obsolete in a way. So much fun. I love the relationship between Windfall and Halo. So cute. Oh, her evil sister. Oh no, did Windfall turn on them? I haven't read this in so long. How awful. Like, why do there always have to be a betrayal of Fitzgerald all over again? No, Windfall, no. Say it isn't so. Anyway, I mean, I guess, you know, it had to happen. Gosh, now I have to, like, find next issue. Anyway, Halo and Katana. This is what I also love. So, like I said, Jim Aparo could only do like, you know, a page a day, so he could average like 22 pages when comics were 22 pages, but then when they went to these deluxe format, they were a little longer to give you more bang for your buck, so they were having these backup stories, and some of them were really great, like John Byrne did one that was all about Halo's powers. And this, Mike W. Barr, writer, editor, Dan Spiegel, artist, Carrie Spiegel, letterer, and Adrian Roy, colorist. I love Dan Spiegel's art. He is so classic. I actually own an original page of his art. Not really having much familiarity with his old stuff. I know he's a legend and classic and great, and I'm so honored to own it. And it is so cool that they got someone like him to do this backup story. I love when that happened. I feel like there's certain stories randomly peppered through this era where you can find, you know, like classic creators doing random stories. Like Steve Ditko was doing a lot of random things here and there. Gems, hidden gems when you find them, for sure. Loving the art. It is so classic. It looks, I feel like the page that I own by him is like a horror page, and it is so good. Anyway, this is fun. I love these classic characters. The Outsiders rule. One of the best team books in comic book history. So much fun. Are you a fan of The Outsiders? How could you not be? Oh man, I love the Young All-Stars too. So great. I feel like they're coming up soon, guys, so stay tuned. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit that like button, and I'll bring you more soon.